Started. Andrew. All right. Hello. Welcome officially, everyone. I'm Jessica Campbell, Director of the Honors Program, and I have had the pleasure of working with Andrew Yancik this semester, this year, in fact, on his honors thesis. He is a music marketing major here at McKendree, just about finished up. And in fact, he was a student of mine as a freshman in English composition. So we've known each other for quite some time. And he will be speaking to you today on digital disruption and social media marketing in the music industry. So Andrew, please take it away.
Thanks, Dr. Campbell. Thank you for joining me in my presentation on digital disruption and social media marketing in the music industry. Basically today what I'm going to be talking about is what digital disruption is and how it has affected the music industry and what it has brought along into the music industry, specifically putting a focus on social media marketing. Okay, so we'll start with what digital disruption is. Digital disruption is an effect that changes the fundamental expectations and behaviors of a market or an industry that is caused by improvements and new forms of digital capabilities, channels, or assets. And the word disruption kind of sounds like it's a negative thing, but anything that involves change is going to bring on that feeling of negativity. Is it like this is going to be a threat, which it isn't necessarily a threat. Obviously, at first, change is very, very scary, but there are several opportunities with new and improving technology in all industries, but the music industry has taken these opportunities and forged ahead with them to become successful as technology continues to improve. Okay, so before we get to the digital era and the mass improvements in technology, let's take a look back to the music industry before the digital era. So before everything became digitized, there's a high importance in the music industry for record labels. So a record label is, or was, and still is, their job is to record, distribute, and promote a musical artist through traditional media outlets, such as radio and television. And without signing to a record label, artists can only hope to build, establish, and maintain an audience and fans locally in a city or region by self-promoting and playing live concerts. So the record label really helps with all of those, so that it doesn't have to fall on the artists. They can just worry about creating art and their content. So physical sales, the record industry makes their money off selling and distributing what their artists make in the studio, and that can be you've seen CDs, vinyl, 8 tracks, any copies of the music that they've made. And there are 3 major record companies that take up most of the market. That would be Sony, Universal, and Warner Music Group. And recently, in 2016, collectively, those companies spent over $1.7 billion on just marketing, product promotion, and music distribution. All right, so in comes the digital era, and everything changed when Napster was introduced in the summer of 1999. Started a global shift in the traditional business model of the music industry. So what Napster is, it's an online-based service that allows consumers to upload and download musical files, specifically digital MP3 files, onto the internet, and you can download those free of charge and listen to music offline. This is obviously would be a big hit on the music industry since they weren't making any money off of sales or anything like that. Artists weren't receiving the royalties from plays or downloads or anything like that. And there were a few court cases about this. Probably one of the most famous was American metal band Metallica. They took Napster to court because they weren't receiving any money, and there was an instance where there was an MP3 file uploaded to Napster of unreleased music that no one else had heard, only the band, and you know, that was they thought that was like a breach of privacy in their own content. So this started in 1999, and by July of 2000 next year, nearly 25% of adult internet users had admitted to downloading music online without charge, and 54% of those people had used Napster to do so. So the record industry took major hits in the early 2000s after the introduction of Napster and other online MP3 downloading services. And actually, in 2004, there were 600 million units sold, and you go 4 years into the future, 2008, that had dropped by 200 million to 400 million units sold. So the record industry, music industry, tried to fight this, but they realized that music consumers, they really embrace this new wave of technology and of digital music and downloading and listening to it offline after downloading. So this chart here is very interesting. You have from 1973 to 2020 here, and you can see when so this goes over the sales volumes by format. As you can see, like in the 70s, you had vinyl and 8-tracks and cassettes, obviously, and then you have the introduction in the 90s of CDs, which is the orange. And then right in the early 2000s, you see the sales volume starts to drop there, and a new form is introduced in the light purple and purple, which are downloads. People were downloading albums and singles, and that's how they were getting their music. And this goes along with that. This is music revenues. So the music industry was obviously, as I said, like in the 70s and 80s, you're making money off of selling 8-tracks, cassettes, vinyl. In the 90s, it goes to CDs, taking up most of the revenue there. And then in the early 2000s, you see that switch to downloads, making up most of the revenue there. And then in more recent years, from about 2010 on, you have the introduction of streaming services and their paid subscriptions making up most of the revenues for those years. Okay, so music, subscribing these music streaming services has become the new source of income for the music industry. So like with these streaming services, you pay a monthly subscription or even no subscription at all to some of them. It all depends on the service. And fans and consumers have access to millions of songs at their fingertips. And it also allows them to share artists and music on their digital feeds, and that influences their fellow digital natives. So now music consumers don't have to rely solely on major record labels to introduce new music and expand listeners' music libraries. So those who are on that are digitally fluent and on the internet, they can find music that they love and build relationships with their favorite artists using social platforms such as streaming services and even social media. But major record labels aren't they aren't getting the blunt of it. They do benefit from digital music because it cuts costs by removing intermediaries such as record stores and gives them ability to sell singles individually rather having to do so with like the entire album. And because of this, major labels, they're able to remain as large entities because they have not immediately, but they have slowly adapted to the technological transition of the music industry. So this means that the music industry, which was previously more of a physical manufacturing industry, has now transformed itself into more of a service industry that doesn't rely on selling the physical sales and copies of albums to earn income and promote the success of their artists. So streams streams are beneficial for record labels as well because high numbers of streams can be used to pitch an artist and their songs to radio stations for airtime. And also the digital information data of streams can be collected to analyze and study an artist's demographics, allowing record labels to engage with their target audience accordingly. Okay, and so the digital age has shifted the power of music industry from record labels to artists and consumers. So major recording industry labels have long been critiqued of their influence and their centralized power over the type and quality of music that is given priority and promoted in mainstream media. So the growth of digital platforms has given musicians of all genres the opportunity to spread their music and influence to their vast audiences. Today, the musician may be the creator, the consumer, and seller all at once. So they can create the music, they can also consume other music, and they can also sell and promote their own music on their own. As for the fans and consumers of music, the digital disruption of music does bring excitement because of the decentralization of power, because it gives them greater ease of access and a better variety of choices to consumers. Not saying that there isn't still a centralization of power in the music industry, because for streaming, you still see there's two major streaming services now, which include Apple Music and Spotify. But this almost monopolization of the streaming industry isn't such a bad thing because these companies' emphasis on building a marketplace and advancing technologies uh, allows us to access nearly any music that consumers desire for free or at a very small cost for paid subscriptions and premium accounts. So, uh, this form of consumption aids in the improvements of streaming applications such as Apple Music and Spotify, uh, since the increasing usage creates more data that feeds algorithms and basically music recommendations. So this really is helping consumers more than anything, uh, helping them uh, find the music that they like, finding music similar to what they like, and having more of a variety that they can enjoy, which is uh, a win-win situation for both consumers and artists. Their artists' music is being put out there more and recommended. All right, so one ultimate goal for any business marketer or musician is consumer loyalty and retention. So loyalty in the music industry is especially integral because it builds a community of fans and defines exactly what it means to be a music fan. Digital technology advances give way to allowing consumers to integrate music into their everyday life to a greater degree. A powerful tool that emerged from these advancements was social media platforms. So the introduction of the internet, mobile devices, and social media have enabled users to communicate both simple and complex messages instantaneously over great distances, connecting people of all sorts. With the ever-increasing presence of digital spaces, consumers are able to engage with artists and other fans in multiple ways in an easier fashion than ever before. All right, so this brings us to social media marketing. So social media is defined as online networking sites that allow users to share information and connect digitally. And during the shift to the digital age, businesses and industries have begun to adopt and utilize social media for marketing and several other purposes. In the music industry, uh, one of the main benefits of social media marketing is it creates this two-way relationship between uh, consumers or fans and the artists like never before. So uh, now you are more connected uh, to your favorite artists, and basically with a click of a button on social media, you can contact them, uh, via direct message or commenting on a post on social media. Um, and you can stay updated and alerted to everything going on pretty much in the musician's life. Uh, they can, they'll post, uh, personal things on there, music related things, upcoming releases, little snippets of things that they're working on, in the studio and stuff like that. So that's very cool that you're able to basically be along the ride with them as they create their art. Another uh, benefit to social media marketing in the music industry is much more cost effective than traditional marketing. Okay, and the third benefit on this page is that social media marketing really promotes word of mouth marketing. And word of mouth marketing is one of the most effective marketing tactics and a very powerful indicator of a successful marketing plan. And that's true because people are very powerful indicator, or people are more likely to trust the opinions in friends and family when making a purchase or engaging in other consumer activities. especially in the world of music, people are more inclined to listen to music based on what their friends tell them and what their peers are listening to. And the proper use of social media engagement leads to positive word of mouth marketing and also brings along that brand loyalty that every business or musician is looking for. And it's the proper balance and marriage between social media marketing and word of mouth marketing that makes a business plan so effective. All right, so artists on social media, like how do they use it? Uh, so artists on social media, they use it to create awareness and connect with their target market, which would be fans, and those most likely to become fans. Uh, so uh, their social media habits can determine how their fans can interact with them, which in turn can lead to a more marketable and profitable presence. So, being active on social media makes the artist more personable and relatable. And music fans really want to latch themselves to what an artist stands for, and sharing their lives and creative processes can allow this connection to grow. So people are really interested in knowing more about artists and their creative processes behind songs and albums and their art. And social media is a great way uh, to uh, to display that. So another a good tip uh, for successful social media marketing for artists is to be yourself. You don't just want to be uh, using social media as a marketing plea, saying like, "Oh man, look, I'm famous" or whatever. Follow me. Um, I have this. I'm on this high pedestal. You have to establish your brand identity, show what you are passionate about, and lower the gates and get personal with your fans. Show them that you are just like them, and they can relate to you in some sort of way, whether it be lifestyles or experiences that they've gone through in their life and influences their music. Okay, so uh, another uh, pro about social media marketing is how you can analyze the data from it and apply that data to your marketing and business plan. So, uh, collecting and analyzing these analytics from social networks allows you to measure and gauge your audience and how they are reacting and participating with your posts. And that allows marketers and musicians to easily reach their audience and keep creating relatable marketing campaigns and content on social media. So, as I said, um, the data that they've collected allows them to adjust marketing plans, see what's working, see if there's any changes that need to be made. There are some difficulties with collecting data on social media and seeing how people are engaging, because you can interact with a post or on social media without physically being seen. So like your physical interactions include likes or comments or sharing the post, but that doesn't necessarily include views. So people can view an article or a post, and it doesn't always show up depending on the social network uh, if they have actually viewed that or not. So that taking that into consideration, it could be difficult to uh, gauge that the data on that. And so the use of data and analytics, it shouldn't be your only way of gauging your audience. So there's a certain level of implementation that you need there. You need to balance that with other marketing, traditional marketing techniques to be the most successful. All right, so arguably the most exciting and sought after experiences for music fans are attending